Really?
parks, our recreation.
Oh, okay.
Yep. And all of these things are normally regulated by the city. But so, for example, in Richmond, Texas, like you just started out describing, we don't vote in our neighborhood for mayors or city comptrollers here.
Yeah.
Because we live in what's considered by the state as an extraterritorial district that isn't governed by any other cities that surround us. We are completely operated as a special district and empowered by the state to generate revenues through our property taxes.
Oh, okay. So let me put a pause on that point.
Of our water bill.
How many people live in Richmond?
I'm not sure how many people live in Richmond, but in the community that I live in, the Mud District, we probably have 1,300 homes.
Okay.
So divide that by the number of folks that are probably in a home, an average of 2 to 4 people in a house. You can do the math, but not everybody is eligible to vote, right, for Mud District Board of Directors members.
Why?
And
Why not?
The interesting thing about that is for a Mud Board, it operates as the governing body that oversees and controls all the things that go on in your neighborhood. So when you think about the type of person that you want to serve on the board, it's likely that you want somebody that has relevant experience working with professionals at all levels, managing complex issues. In our particular board, we generate in revenue from property taxes a little over $3 million every year.
Okay.
So the board is specifically responsible for overseeing that budget. We also have commercial establishments that are also a part of our board. So we have grocery stores and things like that also pay into that revenue that we generate on an annual basis. So it's incumbent upon the person who wants to earn the vote of its residents, like me, to bring certain qualities to the table, given the important and sometimes complex issues that are at play on the board. Right now, we have 2 engineers that are on the board, me having a legal background, coupled with 17 years of leadership and management and consulting experience, has definitely prepared me for the responsibility of being a member. You should want somebody that asks tough questions, even when it's uncomfortable, but still respects opposing views and is able to find common ground.
Well, let me ask you this. So you just said somebody that can answer the tough questions. So I did a little bit of digging on you, and I looked at the neighborhood. It's called the neighborhood, the app or whatever it is, and I noticed. It's called Nextdoor. Yeah. So Nextdoor, for those of you out there in the listening world, Nextdoor, I didn't know anything about, but that's where the neighborhood people in your block can basically go on there and chitty chat and say what's going on. Well, I noticed that you were being asked a lot of questions by a couple of neighbors, and I was quite impressed. Tell me a couple of the questions, or tell the listeners out there a couple of the questions that you were asked on that website, so that the people that are listening now could understand exactly what you've been up against. Because has the other person that's running against you been on the neighborhood thing answering questions?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
But she has been on other social media platforms.
Okay, well, tell us some of the questions that were put to you on that neighborhood website.
Well, so a couple of the questions were, what are your qualifications? What makes me want to be able to vote for? Why should I vote for you for the Mud Board? What are your qualifications? And I'm ignorant as to what I should be looking for in the type of person that should be on the board. So, again, as you mentioned, I do have a JD from Thurgood Marshall School of Law and a bachelor's degree from Spelman College. But in my current role, right, because when you're on a board, you have to be able to deal with and listen to and be able to ask tough questions of the other board members.
Right.
And usually those are professionals as well. So I currently lead and manage 4 teams of professionals across 5 states, spanning 14 offices, 3 time zones, and 22 markets. Okay, so working and partnering with people from all walks of life and all backgrounds and finding compromises where there seem to be none at times is very familiar to me, and I actually welcome the challenge.
Oh, good.
Yep, go ahead.
What are the things who's the current MUD person representing your district?
Krista Lawson is her name, and she is a mechanical engineer. She's fabulous.
Okay.
She's actually stepping down, and this position is now vacant. So myself and my opponent are vying for the position.
Okay, now how many people are on the board?
5.
5. Okay, so are you the only one running for that office, and is everyone else seeking re-election or what?
So I'm the only person. Well, no, there's actually one other person running unopposed, who's the current MUD president.
Okay.
And then myself and my opponent are running for position 3 in particular.
Okay. So, and when is early voting start? Has it already started?
It already started on Monday, and it goes through May 3rd, with the actual election day being on a Saturday, May 7th.
Now, you just said that, the person who is vacating the office is fabulous. So tell me, if that person was fabulous, what is it that you will do differently, or will you go ahead and stay in lockstep with what your predecessor did if you're elected?
Well, so I don't know if I'm going to say in lockstep, but, I do believe that, we kind of have the same style, or we appreciate being able to ask tough questions, have input, be engaged, do our research. We're thinkers, right? Mm-hmm. And in that regard, I can liken myself to her, because she understood the importance of, being a part of a board that handles a multi-million-dollar budget. Mm-hmm. And, the importance of not necessarily just subscribing to groupthink, which certainly has been the case in the history of not only our MUD district, but also our HOA here in this neighborhood. So being different, being a diverse, I would probably be the first African American to ever be on the board in the history of our MUD. So I'm told. So
I believe that's accurate.
Sets me apart from any other candidate that has ever run for this role. So I know that I'll provide different, views, different opinions. And for some people that may be a problem, but that's what I'm here for.
Oh, well, you know what? I was going to say that you are going to make history when you are successful and be the first Black woman elected to the MUD board for District 118, because Richmond, from what I gather, is ultimately very conservative. So if there were if the city of Richmond was actually incorporated and was their own town, more than likely it would be a conservative electorate.
Well, it is. And the interesting thing is, part of Richmond is its own city. There is a mayor. We just don't vote for that mayor because we're part of a special district where I live. So
is this because you're further out in Richmond, or what does it have to do with just the lines drawn?
It has to do with the way, exactly. It has to do with the way the lines are drawn. So part of the city of Richmond is a part of Richmond proper, if you will, and other parts of Richmond, although we are in Fort Bend County, are parts of special districts, and our special district is actually aligned to Harris County.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so when you go outside, even in our front yard, our sewer, the city, it says City of Houston, not City of Richmond, Texas, for our sewer lines.
Oh, you know what? So I live in Brazoria County, and I pay MUD to Fort Bend County. So you're telling me the MUD that I pay to Fort Bend County, I need to go over there and raise Cain about my property taxes.
Exactly.
Because I'm paying, literally, for 16 years, I paid my taxes to Brazoria County and my MUD to Fort Bend County. And literally, I thought MUD just meant mud. I didn't know it was my actual. So do I need to protest my taxes to Fort Bend?
City Council.
Wow. So you know what?
5 people are in control of how much your property taxes are, what your property tax rate is.
Really?
They're in control of what your water bill amount is that you pay every month. Your consumption is your consumption. That's one thing.
Okay.
But you can, and this information is available to anybody who wants to take the time to look for it. If you just go to your MUD's website, you can see what the actual rate is that you are paying on top of whatever your water consumption is per gallon.
So are you trying to lower the rate for your constituents, or you want to raise the rate?
Yes, our rates are extremely high. Out of all of the MUDs that are serviced by EDP.
Wait, what does EDP stand for? Is that your utility company?
It's our,
Your energy? Okay.
It's our water.
Okay.
So out of all of the MUDs in Fort Bend County that EDP services, our MUD and one other MUD in the county are the ones that pay the highest water bills.
Oh.
Water bills. And the way that because we actually charge, our MUD charges a premium to all of its residents on top of whatever our water usage is. Okay, so there's the North Fort Bend Water Authority.
Mm-hmm.
If you pay your water bill, you also get charged the same fee for the North Fort Bend Water Authority. For me, it's 40 cents per gallon. Okay, so if you get charged that, my particular MUD charges a premium on top of that of 50 cents per gallon of water usage.
So you're paying 90 cents
$1,000.
for 90 cents basically
Yes.
on top of the actual bill for every gallon.
Yes.
How many gallons does your family go? I don't know how many gallons of water. So on average, how much would your water bill be with all of those premiums and all those extra fees tucking on top of that? How much are you paying per month?
I can tell you right now, this is the main reason why I'm running for the MUD is because within 6 months of living here, of moving into this house that we love, our water bill was astronomically high. Think about the highest water bill you've ever paid, and you probably want to double it because that's how much our water bill was.
On a monthly?
And, yes, ma'am. On a monthly
Ooh.
for 1 month. And so we were like, something has to be done. This is not right. We had EDP come out, service our area to see if we had any leaks, and they couldn't find anything. Greg and I, my husband, were on our hands and knees looking at our water sprinklers in the ground to try to figure out what was going on. Couldn't find anything. So we decided to get smart about it. We decided not to rely on EDP, not to rely on the water meter that was, monitoring our water usage on a month-to-month basis. And we found out that we could save money and get accurate real-time readings of our water meter if we used a smart water meter. So we installed a smart water meter for our home and cut down our bill by 40%.
Are you serious? A smart, no. Hold on. Put a pin in that point. You bought a what? A smart water meter?
A smart water meter for our home. And you can literally attach it to the water meter that you have, right? That came when you bought the house.
Mm-hmm.
And it provides literally real-time usage of how many gallons you've used minute by minute. You can look at it from your phone. It's wireless. It's accurate. You can even say, I only want to use 10,000 gallons of water this month.
Is that how much we use? 10,000 gallons?
10,000 gallons is probably an average during like a dormant season of how much water most residents will use. So if you say you want to use 10,000 gallons a month, it'll notify you if you're getting close to that 10,000 gallons. Or if somebody, one of your kids let the water on in the sink, in another part of the house, it'll notify you that there's still water running somewhere, and it will pinpoint where that water is coming from.
How is it going to notify you? Via text or how do you get notified?
It pops up on your app. It's awesome.
So this is cost saving. Hold on. So I don't know anybody in my entire life who has ever purchased a smart water meter. My husband consistently says, why do you still have the shower water on? I said, because I'm getting it to get hot. I'm waiting for it to get hot. And I let it for like 20 minutes. Not thinking that I needed a smart water meter so that when I run up 25 gallons in my shower pre-turn on before I get in there, get it all steamy, that I'm wasting money. So basically the smart water meter, see, you have to be a smart candidate. Because if running, from what I gather from you, the reason that you ran was because your water bill was too high. And then the only way to control it was to get the smart water meter. And then once you realized how much you were saving in the gallons, you realized you were still getting taxed on the bill because of the premium and the surcharge fees. So if that 90 cents per gallon is for how much is 10,000 gallons times 90 cents? What is that? Like $90? That's $90 extra. Ooh.
That's a lot. And think about 1,300 homes where that is the case. So my main goal, if I'm elected to the position or when I'm elected to the position, is to get smart water meters, to utilize and invest back in our community, to get smart water meters for all the residents in the neighborhood.
Well, I'm going to do a hand clap to that.
Have accurate, real-time readings of our meters, just like we do at any given time and on any given day of the month. Interestingly enough, Nyanza, I just want to say, I recently read that San Antonio, one of the largest cities in America,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not kidding, completed a pilot program to test the validity of smart water meters for the residents. And they just did this in November of 2020.
Mm-hmm.
And it was unanimously determined by the Board of Trustees to approve a citywide rollout of smart water meters because they understood that it is just an overall better tool to have to save money and conserve water and provide accurate and real-time readings. So the seventh largest city in the country has approved to roll out smart water meters for its residents, and it is the largest smart water meter rollout of its kind.
Is this something you're trying to do for yours? Yeah, then y'all need to do it. So how much are smart water meters? How much do they cost on average?
The one that we purchased, and there's a couple of there's a few companies out there, but the one that we purchased in particular was not even $200.
And then it lasts.
Fee,
Uh-huh.
There is no subscription, nothing like that, and the app doesn't cost any money to download.
Wow. So this is something that I believe is beneficial to the community. If you look at what's going out there in California, they're telling people, don't turn on your water outside. They're running out of water. Yep. They can no longer use water for their yards. They're not turning on the shower for 30 minutes to let it get hot and steamy. And so if the city of San Antonio, like you said, is the seventh largest city, and they're doing smart water meters, how much would it cost for your particular neighborhood, since you're running to represent MUD 118, position 3, how much would that cost your neighborhood to give smart water meters for the 2,200 residents that are in your area?
Yeah, we did the math for, based on $200, let's just roughly say $200 and 1,300 homes. I think it ended up coming out to about $500,000. So it pales in comparison to the $3 million in revenue we generate on an annual basis.
So what are y'all doing with the extra revenue?
It'll be we're thank you for the question. We should be using it to pay down our bond debt.
Well, when you say should, that means they're not doing it.
When the MUD is first created, the development, Perry Homes, who developed our neighborhood, had to take out a bond to pay for all of the water, sewage, etc., electrical utilities. And so over the next 20 to 30 years, the goal is, as people move into the neighborhood and pay their property taxes, that money will then go back to paying down that bond debt.
Okay, so how much is the bond debt?
Point of the MUD.
How much is y'all's bond debt out there in Richmond?
It's significant because instead of just having our one bond for the creation of the development, we took out a second bond about 4 or 5 years ago, which caused an extreme divide in our community because we also have a beautiful lake in the community, and it's the only one in the area. And we created a pathway. There was another bond taken out to create a pathway around the lake. Prior to that, it was just those who lived on the lake had the lakeside view. But now they have, people from the public or people walking around the pathway being able to look into their backyards. And it created this huge divide that still isn't repaired to today, which is why the MUD that I'm running in is a highly controversial MUD district because of all of the drama that ensued from that.
So if you're on the board, what I hear you saying is that you're going to, number one, promote getting a smart water meter paid for by the surplus funds that are remaining. And did Perry Homes not pay back what they needed to?
So it wasn't Perry Homes' responsibility. It's our responsibility as a resident. It's the MUD's responsibility, if you will.
Okay.
Right? The MUD's responsibility to pay down the bond debt. The bond debt through property taxes, the surplus premium charge, and whatever else. The problem with that is not only do we have one bond, but we now have 3 bonds because we also installed a splash pad, and we took out a small bond for that as well. So now, instead of just paying down that one bond, which we were close to doing, we now have 2 more. So our debt has increased, right? And it's going to take us longer to pay back all of this debt.
Okay, so you know what? That is something that I find quite interesting, that after living 16 years in paying Fort Bend MUD, I guess I'm always getting these property tax protest letters saying you need to protest your taxes. I never protest. I'm too lazy. I'm a lawyer in real life, so I don't have time to go down there and do lawyering for myself. So for me, it's kind of like, I thought I would be going down there to protest to Brazoria when I was going to be end up at the wrong building. Looks like I need to go into Fort Bend since that's where I pay my mud. So listen, as a lawyer of 21 years, I clearly needed to hear your voice this morning. And let me just tell all of you out there, if you are living in this particular district and you have gotten a wealth of information from this candidate, then I need for you to go onto her website. Nicole Roberts, tell the people out there how they can find you. I want to know all of your handles for social media and your web address. What is it?
So my web address is votenicoleroberts.com.
Mm-hmm.
My handle for Facebook is Nicole and Greg Roberts.
Mm-hmm.
And my Instagram is Coley Rabbit.
Well, you know what? That's
and,
listen.
and my and that's it. Yeah, because in order to be a part of the next door dialogue, I believe you have to be a resident of Waterside Estates. So
Yeah.
if you live in MUD 118, if you're a resident of Waterside Estates, definitely get engaged, get involved, come to the meetings for the MUD.
When are the meetings?
The meetings are the second Tuesday of every month.
Okay.
And even the HOA meetings that just occurred last night,
Mm-hmm.
those are also, my husband is on the board for the HOA. We like to get involved in our community and whatever community that we're in. So I encourage all the residents to do the same. Getting involved and understanding what it is that you're paying for
Mm-hmm.
day in and day out
Mm-hmm.
matters, and how your money is being utilized.
So, well, you know what? I mean, I know this is off topic. Ladies and gentlemen, you can find Nicole at Vote for Nicole Roberts. But I want to make sure, if you're saying that you're for instead of giving the money from the windfall of cash y'all getting from property taxes, instead of just doing parks and splash pads and,
Right.
a sidewalk around the lake, that you guys need to save the actual taxpayers the money by giving them a smarter choice, which is a smart water meter. So you've just made me smarter, and I'm sure you've made my listeners smarter. You just told me I was going to go protest my taxes to the wrong place. So now I know where to go. And when is the election?
You also need to buy a smart water meter.
Well, I'm going to listen, I'll be protesting. Now I'm going to protest in Fort Bend. So wait a minute. So that means my MUD representative, I don't even know who my representative is. All I know is my taxes are too high.
If you need to know your MUD district number.
Okay.
And then once you do that, go to your MUD's website.
Mm-hmm.
They should have a transparency page where you can find out what the budget is. By law, they are required to provide these things on, readily available to the public.
Okay, well, you know what?
You can see their budget. You can see what your tax rate is. You can see if you're paying more, what your rate is for your water.
Mm-hmm.
You can find out all of those things on your particular MUD's website. But it's important for us, right, as people of color, to be involved, to get engaged, to find out what's going on and how people are spending our money.
You know what? You sound like a very conservative. You sound like you're on the red team when you say, how are y'all spending our money? Well, can you tell something to Joseph Biden, who's giving all of our money to Ukraine and will not wipe out college debt? He's acting like $10,000 wipe out of college debt when we're paying the taxes on that. And we're the ones that are actually funding Ukraine, the tax-paying citizens of the United States. We've given $3 billion to Ukraine, and we've got another $300 million that Biden is asking for. I think I need for you to run for something else after you get the MUD position, because they need to stop spending our money where it doesn't belong. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to say a resounding thank you so much to Nicole Roberts, who has basically given us all the information that I need, and I'm not even in her district. But if I could vote, I'll vote for her. You need to, when is the election day, Nicole?
May 7th is the election. Early voting is going on right now until May 3rd.
Okay, so May 7th is next Friday, right? Or next, yeah. So
May 7th is actually next Saturday.
Oh, so next Saturday. You guys, please go to the polls. Nicole Roberts, I'm going to share this live stream, because I know that there is somebody out there that is interested in saving money, since we know that gas prices and inflation have gone up and up and up and up with no way to bring it down. And if we can bring our water bills down, maybe we need to take a page out of San Antonio's playbook and do like them. And then maybe because you've done the research, you're probably the best candidate. Maybe you need to put some of these answers on the little neighborhood watch board that y'all are on. And I'm glad that they have a little I don't even know if my neighborhood has a neighborhood watch. All we have is Facebook, which is a whole bunch of nothing. We're just up there talking about, did somebody get robbed yesterday? Did somebody do this? We're not talking about anything of substance. We're not talking about how to save money. And I'm just running my water all day. My daughter is running her water. My husband is running the water. And I always said, you need to cut off the water. We know we need to cut it off, but we don't know how much we're spending. I didn't even know that we go through 10,000 gallons of water on average. So that means we're spending a whole lot of money. So Nicole Roberts, I wish you the best. I'm so excited for you and your campaign. And for those of you out there who thought that she sounds so super duper intelligent, she sounds so well educated and polished, and she's just a girl to know because she's so smart and she can answer the questions at a moment's notice, it's because we came from the same womb. Yes, this is my sister, my blood sister, Nicole Roberts, who graduated from the same alma mater as I did, HBCU, Thurgood Marshall School of Law. She's a Spell woman and I'm a Texas Aggie. But let me tell you something about these smart Davis girls. We marry other men, but we're still smart. So you need somebody who can lead you out there in Richmond, since you don't have a city council, because you know that Nicole Roberts will speak up for you because it's in her blood. It's in her genes. That's what we do. We are activists. We speak out for the people. So good luck, Nicole. As your big sister, I'm very proud. So there you have it. And if our mama is watching, Joyce, you should be proud. Go vote for Nicole, ladies and gentlemen. Nicole Roberts for MUD 118, position 3. Thanks, Nicole.
Thank you. Thank you.
Boom. You know what? Let me tell you something about intelligence, okay? The same way Kris Jenner has her daughters good at what they're good at, Joyce and Ernest Davis decided to raise daughters that were going to be good at what they need to be good at, which is getting your education, making sure that you know what's going on in the community. Now, there's different levels because I don't know what's going on with my mud. I just know what's going on the legislative level as far as city government and who's trying to press black and poor people. So Nicole Roberts, my sister, that spell woman, she moved out there to Richmond, Texas. And let me tell you, I didn't realize Richmond was just so white. I didn't know. I didn't know that they had not seen any black people out there before. I didn't realize it was like that until I went out there and she said, there's just nobody black out here. And my brother-in-law, Greg Roberts, is on the HOA board for the neighborhood. See, they're very actively involved. And here's another thing. Hats off to my deceased father, God rest his soul, Ernest Davis, and my wonderful, wonderful mother for raising fantastic daughters. Because guess what? We could have ended up being Kardashians. We could have been on the pole, but no. We were on the graduation rolls, baby. Then all the degrees. We got more degrees than a thermometer, honey. And so if you want to make a smart choice, just look at Nicole. She's saving money on the water bill. I'm spending money. I think that if you're out there anywhere in that district, if you didn't know that your MUD was in charge of your property tax, or you didn't know where to protest, or you didn't know how much you should protest, you probably need to go on Nicole Roberts' website and try to promote that, even if you don't live in that neighborhood, so that you can go ahead and share and share and share and share. So this has been fantastic. I'm going to pause this social media live stream so I can re-up it. But vote for Nicole Roberts out there in District 118 of the MUD District, Municipal Utility District, Position 3. The election day is May the 7th, which is a Saturday, not a Friday like I thought it was. And then don't forget, Mother's Day is on May 8th. You better go get your mama something.
And early voting is right now.
And early voting is right now. Now, there are some other races going on right now before I go ahead and sign off. There is the runoff race between Jolanda Jones and Danielle Keys Best, who are both running to replace Garnett Coleman, who ended his term early. Some people say because of health reasons. So he left his term early, and that district out there is, I believe it's District 136. I don't know. I can't remember everybody's district, but it's right out there in Houston in the 3rd Ward area where it's predominantly a black area. And Jolanda Jones was running, she took the lead. So in the primary runoff, she's just going head to head. It's 2 AKAs versus each other. So you just got to vote for the best AKA who could do the job, because both of them are equally qualified. And they'll both fight for the people. So good luck for you out there. Who?
The early voting starts for the primaries May 16th.
The early voting for the primaries starts on May 16th. And election day is May 24th. So that's for the state rep position. I don't know if any other juicy other things are going on in Houston politics or whoever else is running. But what I do know is that you better go out there and vote. When you vote, you learn things on election day. Listen, when I voted in the last election right out there in Brazoria County for whatever we just had, the primary election, I didn't realize I had been gerrymandered into Congressional District 9 out there where it's the Democratic district, out there where Al Green is the congressman. Yes, so they have gerrymandered my black home right out of the Republican-controlled District 22 that had Tom DeLay as their leader for like a bunch of years, and then they had a Democrat one time, and then now they have the sheriff that used to, out there in Sugar Land, who's the representative. But guess what? I didn't have to move to go ahead and have a Democratic congressman speak for the needs that we need in our district, which is now District 9. If you recall correctly, when the Republicans were in charge of redrawing the district lines, and they did a lot of gerrymandering, they tried to carve out a lot of the voter base for the Democrats across the country. They were massively successful, but it really didn't hurt the Democrats as much as people thought it would, because guess what? In my little neighborhood that the Republicans must have thought was all white people, well, honey, a lot of the people that live in my little bitty pod right there in Shadow Creek Ranch are black, and they are Democrats. So you basically gave Al Green more Democrats to vote for him. So thank you for the gerrymandering, everybody. I'll be back with more politics later on after I cut to this commercial. Bye, everybody. So you want to do a thumbnail? I got to do a thumbnail. Okay, so I'm getting a little bit of static over here. Yeah, it's like way static in my left ear. Let's turn it down a little bit. Y'all remember Jay-Z and that song? Turn my music up. Turn my louder. Turn my headphones up. Turn my headphones down. Let's see. Too much static in my left ear. And it's static in both ears, but my right ear is too faint to hear. My left is better. Yeah, that's how we got to do it. Okay, let me get my thumbnail.
Hold it for 15 seconds.
Which one? Which one are we doing? Which one are we doing?
Instagram. We're doing Instagram.
Come on, y'all. Y'all know Jesus is the reason for the season. And even though
1,
Easter
2,
is over.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
Boom! Got the thumbnail.
And then your last position on Facebook.
In my Instagram live?
Yes.
Let's do it.
You ready?
Yeah. My IG has bad